The payroll tax holiday took effect on September 1st. That was yesterday. Or did it? Employers are wondering what in the world to do. Employees are wondering what is going on. I'm going to make sense for both of you here coming up. Hey, my name is Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners and owners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Welcome to this channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, Congress was at a stalemate. No stimulus was getting done. President Donald Trump stepped in August 8th and signed 4 executive orders helping people that are on unemployment, helping people that have student loans, helping that people that are facing evictions, and then confusing all of us with what in the world to do with this Social Security tax. My goodness. Okay, I told you the other day when I was criticizing Biden's 401k tax strategy, this is not a political channel, and I will prove that to you right now because I'm telling you I am not a fan of these executive orders. I know they've helped some of you, and I know the extra $300 a week of unemployment has been extremely helpful. I know it because I've seen your comments, and I appreciate them. I appreciate you watching this channel, and hopefully it's been helpful to you. However, these executive orders have been a nightmare to understand, and it's the crescendo is right here with this employee Social Security tax holiday. I mean, this is a nightmare scenario. Let me explain to you what's going on and what was supposed to take effect on September 1st and what you should do as an employer and what you should do as an employee. So here's what's going on. FICA tax, that 4-letter F word, is the tax that you pay on all of your wages. So you don't pay it on capital gains, you don't pay it on interest, you don't pay it on your Social Security, but on your earnings, working at a job. 7.65% is your FICA tax. You pay on the first $137,700 of earnings every single year, and they increase that number every year. You pay that FICA, it comes right out of your paycheck. Your company, your employer is required to withhold that from your paycheck. Now your employer is also required to match that. They pay 7.65% as well. They call it payroll tax. Now, the 7.65%, 6.2% of that goes to fund the Social Security system. And that amount you pay on the first $137,700, but then you no longer have to pay that 6.2% when you make above that, at any dollars you make above that, okay? 1.45% goes to fund the Medicare system, and you pay that on all of your wages. There's no cap on that, all right? This executive order signed by President Trump on August 8th said, starting September 1st, there's a payroll tax holiday, which means the 6.2% of Social Security on the employee's portion alone. This doesn't do anything to the employer's portion. 6.2% of the employee's portion alone for Social Security, the collection of that tax is now deferred, starting September 1 and going to 12/31. That collection of that tax is now deferred. But the problem is because the president alone cannot eliminate that tax. It would take an act of Congress to actually eliminate the tax, and Congress is so dysfunctional right now, they can't, they're trillions of dollars apart on anything. So hopefully they do, but what if they don't? Okay, the IRS has come out. They came out last Friday and said, listen, it's up to the employer whether they want to participate in this or not. However, if this tax is not paid in by the end of the year, it is due between January 1st and April 30th of next year. Therefore, if you as an employee, if your employer doesn't withhold this tax from you between September 1 and the end of this year, and Congress doesn't act to actually forgive the tax, you're going to be paying extra Social Security tax for the first part of next year. So you get a little bit of reprieve now, and then you owe the money in 4 months. To me, that does not seem like a holiday. That seems like an IOU, right? And so, and by the way, did I mention, in order to be eligible for this, the executive order said if you make less than $4,000 on a bi-weekly basis, then you're eligible. So if your annual salary is less than $104,000 a year, then you're eligible for this. But right now, employers have the ability to say, yeah, we'll voluntarily choose to stop withholding this tax. But ultimately, employers are going to be the ones responsible for paying it in the spring next year if Congress doesn't act to actually forgive this tax. To add a little bit more confusion into this, what about for you employers who have someone that changes jobs, that right now is on your payroll, or even for you as an individual, if you're working at a job and they're not withholding this tax, and then you change jobs next year. And now this tax is supposed to be due between January 1 and April 30th, but you work at a different job, and that different job, they don't know if you've paid this tax in or not. Guys, this is an absolute disaster. This is a disaster. And I can see a disaster playing out in either of these two ways. One is your employer does not choose to suspend this collection. So they continue to collect the 6.2%. But then Congress comes out in a month or 2 months and says, hey, guess what? We are going to forgive the tax. Now what's your employer supposed to do? So that's a nightmare. Second nightmare scenario is your employer does say, you know what, yeah, we're not going to withhold this tax anymore. Because executive order, I mean, technically that's law. We're not going to withhold this tax. But Congress comes out and says, yeah, no, the tax is still due. Now that employer has to figure out how in the world they can even collect this double tax from you January 1 to April 30th. And if you terminate your employment or you leave jobs, they've got to figure out how in the world to collect it from you even though you're long gone. Nightmare scenario. So I don't know of any employers right now that are actually doing this. I don't know of a single employer right now that is suspending the collection of the 6.2%. And I really, so if you own a small business, I would tell you I'd probably wait. And if you've got a bunch of employees breathing down your neck saying, wait a second, I want to be, just clearly tell them that the tax is still due. As of right now, the tax is still due. So I would still have you withhold it from employees' paychecks. That's to you employers. If we find out soon that Congress is actually acting to eliminate this tax, then I would immediately jump in and start deferring that and not withholding it, and even find a way to retroactively make it up to your employees. But right now, if you own a small business or you're a business owner, you run a business, I would continue to collect the 6.2% Social Security. Now, if you're an employee, if you see that your employer is still withholding the 6.2%, don't freak out. Don't freak out. They're doing that for your benefit, okay? If you want them to, you can go politely talk to them about it. But as of right now, the tax is still due, so they're trying to do you a favor and still collect it from you to make sure you're not in a bind out there in the future. If, however, your employer does choose to stop collecting this 6.2%, do not spend it. Look at your last two pay stubs or just do the math. What is 6.2% of that salary? And set that money aside in a savings account. And then if you find out the Congress has acted and it's forgiven, great. Now you've just boosted your savings. You can use that money. You can keep it in savings, whatever. But I'd rather have you hold on to that money and not spend it than all of a sudden find out that your employer wasn't withholding it and the tax is still due, and all of a sudden you've got a financial crisis on your hand next spring. So I'll continue to keep you updated. Obviously, we're going to hear more from Congress about this. As of right now, the tax is just deferred, but it is still due. So I would encourage you, employers, just continue to withhold the tax from your employees' paychecks. All right, reach out to your certified financial planner who also works with your CPA. This is where you need financial wisdom tied to tax knowledge. You need that in your financial life. So reach out to your CFP and CPA to get that figured out. If you don't have one, you can always contact a member of our team. We've got a full team of CFPs and CPAs right here on one team working together, collaborating to serve our clients. So you can always reach out to us. Find us online, corehorn.com or wisemoneyshow.com, or you can give us a call, 574-247-5898. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.